Have you ever caught yourself feeling tongue-tied or not knowing what to say when a customer gives you one of these? An objection? You know what I'm talking about. The I need to think about it, we're gonna wait, gotta talk to somebody else, your price is too high, we're gonna shop around. We found your product for less somewhere else and we're gonna do business over there. Yes, there is a long list of customer objections that people can give you that probably have derailed you and your success as a closer, as a salesperson, as a professional trying to provide services and products to other people. Well, today I'm gonna give you my objection formula that I've been using for years to close millions of dollars worth of sales and of course, make myself a little bit of money in the process. So when you hear customer objections, put that book down because books aren't for closers. Formulas are, and formulas that you can follow every single time so that you can have a little bit more confidence, a little bit more swag, and of course, reduce your being tongue-tied or not knowing what to say with a customer so that you can close more deals, make more money, and have a better life. And now, I'm gonna show you my objection formula. In addition to giving you my objection formula, I am also in a moment going to give you a real life selling situation, including 3 objections back to back to back, so that you can actually leave this video with some actionable words to say, so that you don't have to feel tongue-tied anymore or have your success as a salesperson get derailed. So with that being said, when you hear an objection like, I need to think about it, gotta talk to my spouse, whatever, the first thing you're gonna do is acknowledge that objection. One of the most basic human desires is to feel understood. And unfortunately, most salespeople don't do a very good job at this because they're not trained to actually acknowledge when a buyer actually speaks. And so what you're gonna wanna do is use a word or a phrase that is your favorite, that is a go-to that you can use to acknowledge your buyer and help them feel understood. In which case, rather than hearing the objection, I need to think about it, and responding with, well, what do you need to think about? What you've just done there, 1, is you haven't acknowledged the buyer. They're not gonna feel understood. And 2, you're kind of confrontational and more or less just shooting yourself in the kneecap because more than likely your customer is just gonna say, well, I just need to think about it. And then you're done, you're toast. Your sales process is over and you might as well just pack your bags and go home. Unless, of course, you keep on watching this video. The first thing that you're gonna do is acknowledge them by saying, great, awesome, got it, cool, fantastic, spectacular, or my personal favorite, I completely understand. When I hear an objection, the very first words out of my mouth are, I completely understand. Then I move on to reply and also reference the objection. What I want to do here is stop my brain from burning calories thinking about what to say, and I certainly, as a salesperson, don't want to be reactive. What I want to do is be in control. So I'm gonna say, I completely understand, and I'm gonna reply and reference the objection verbatim. If you tell me, Jordan, I'd love to do business with you, but I don't like your beard, I would say, hey, I completely understand that you don't like my beard. If you say, Jordan, I'd love to buy your products, but I don't really like you, I would say, hey, I completely understand that you don't like me. What you're doing here again is just copy and pasting verbatim what your customer says and using that as the reference in your reply back to your customer. Then what you are going to do is transition out of the objection by using a transition with a question. Now that you kind of have a decent understanding of this formula, I'm gonna actually use it in a real life selling situation that I've been through, I can't even tell you how many times. And it usually starts with me asking for a credit card number, asking for a signature on a contract, and having a customer tell me something along the lines of, well, Jordan, I need to think about it first. In which case, I'm gonna say, hey, John, completely understand that you would wanna think about it. In fact, I think about all the decisions that I make too. That's the smart thing to do. Now tell me, transition with a question. On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being you are ready to do business with me right now, and a 1 being you would never do business with me even if my product was free, where do you stand right now? What your customer is going to do now is go through the scale from 1 to 10. They're not going to give you a 10 because they just gave you an objection and they sure don't want to hurt your feelings. So they're probably not going to give you a 1 or a 2 or a 3. More than likely, you can bank on them giving you a 4 to a 9, in which case that number, whichever number they pick, is going to kind of for a minute be your favorite number. If a customer tells me, well, Jordan, I'm a 7, I would say, awesome, John, love the number 7. In fact, I was born July 7th, 7 pounds, 7 ounces. It's my favorite number. I love the number 7. Tell me, what would make it a 10 right now? Now, what my customer is going to do is search through their Rolodex of objections and stupid reasons why they don't want to do business with me that they've been using for years on salespeople like you to not get a deal done. And they're probably going to tell you, well, in order to make it a 10 right now, I'd probably have to talk to my spouse. In which case, I'm literally just going to repeat this same process and say, hey, John, completely understand that you need to talk to your spouse. In fact, I talk to my spouse about everything that I'm thinking about as well so that I can make the best decision, and I value their feedback. Tell me, transition with a question. Let's say that you and your wife go out to dinner tonight. You guys start going over the details of this transaction, and your wife looks you dead in the eyes and says, no. What are you going to do? Now, there will be some times where your customer is going to say, well, if they say no, I'm still going to do the deal. Then ask for their credit card number and say, thank you for your business and congrats, you just got a deal. But more than likely, your customer is going to tell you, well, if they say no, I'm not going to be able to move forward. I'm not going to do the deal. I'm not going to do it. In which case, you're more or less going to start again right back here at the top, where you're going to say, John, I completely understand that you wouldn't do it if your wife said no. Truth is, I don't like doing anything that my wife doesn't want me to do either, because really at the end of the day, I don't like being in the doghouse. It's not a very comfortable place to be. Tell me, out of everything that we've talked about so far and everything that you're going to discuss with your wife, what exactly would your wife be saying no to? Would it be the monthly payment? Would it be the total contract value? Would it be the contract itself? Would it be the benefits of the product? And list those out, by the way. What exactly would your wife be saying no to? Now, obviously, more than likely, they're not going to reference the benefits or the product or you. They probably like you. They probably like your product, or else they wouldn't still be on the phone or in front of your face. More than likely, what are they going to do? Well, obviously, they're going to talk to you about the price. So what you've just done effectively now, using this formula, is you've overcome the fact that they need to use their brain and think about it. And you've also eliminated this third party that's not around. And by the way, for those of you that still attempt to get this third party or the wife or the spouse or whoever it is on the phone while you're with your customer, that's like shooting yourself in the kneecap as well. In case you haven't already noticed, the spouse, the person that's missing from this deal, that's derailing your whole thing, is probably not going to be available. They're going to be at underwater basket weaving class, and they're not going to be available. So don't use that word track. Use this one, because it hits perfectly every single time. Now, what we've done is, of course, eliminated this third party. And of course, now we are focused in on the money. In which case, you're going to say, hey, I completely understand that the money may be an issue. Tell me, can you think of a single bill that you enjoy paying? Can you think of your mortgage, your insurance, your car payment, whatever? Think about all the bills that you pay, Spotify, Netflix, whatever. Can you think of a bill that you just love to pay? When you see that receipt in your email or you get that bill in the mail, you're literally running down the driveway looking to pay that bill because it just fits so perfectly in the budget and because it's too low. Chances are John here is probably going to be thinking about all of his bills, and he's probably going to come to his own conclusion that there is not a single bill that he pays that's too low or the perfect price, considering the fact that everything has a price tag on it, and so does yours. In which case, John's probably going to tell you, well, no, I can't think of anything that I love to pay. In which case, you can say, look, I completely understand. I try to stay within budget, and I don't like to spend too much money, right? Of course, myself, we all want to stick to the budget. But truth is, being out of budget is probably the most American thing that you can actually do. And in fact, I've found more often than not that I usually go over budget and end up buying things anyway that I know, like, or do me good, or at least make me more money for those of you selling B2B products. So of course, you're gonna make sure that your buyer understands that everything that they pay for is probably too high or outside of their budget. And by the way, you're making that little reference there about how this decision is probably gonna be better off than some of the other decisions that John has actually made in the past that didn't make him very much money, that didn't actually provide him with the enjoyment or the benefits in which they thought it was when they were going to buy it, which is exactly why they're giving you this objection. More on the subconscious later. But basically, what you've done here now is you've erased the fact that they need to think about it. You've eliminated the third party that's not around out of this equation, and you've also helped your buyer come to their conclusion that they're going to like this product, enjoy the benefits of it, and of course, like everything else, it's going to be too much money. What could be more logical than that? Now, of course, you may be wondering, Jordan, those are 3 objections. There's way more than that. Truth is, there is, and you need to be prepared. And by the way, since you're probably not going to want to watch this video over and over and over again when your customers are on the phone, chances are pretty good you're going to want to keep these on your desk or in your pocket like I do. These are called cash cards. These are flashcards for closers. And yeah, I was part of Hooked on Phonics when I was growing up, and one of my favorite ways to learn was flashcards. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide you with these cash cards. On the front, you're going to have the objection. On the back, you're going to have word for word what you need to say to help handle this objection. And if, by the way, I can't fit everything on this little card that you need to say or understand, I also have QR codes built in so that you can get more information for free on my website, which is awesome, which means that you don't necessarily have to be tongue-tied or guess what to say when a customer says, we're going to wait, or I need to think about it, or your monthly price is too high, or that I need to talk to my spouse, even though we just kind of covered that one. There are some other ways to handle that, by the way. Anyway, pick up a deck of cash cards and start stacking some checks. And by the way, if you're looking for more information on how to completely eliminate objections from your sales process, well, you're going to want to dial in your pitch and learn how to initiate objections and negotiate using negotiable variables. And also, of course, for those of you that haven't had these or don't know this formula and you've blown a couple of deals, well, you're going to want to learn how to follow up effectively, creatively, and with some value-driven entertainment and education. And I've got that all loaded up inside Stupar Sales Academy alongside 25 hours of video content that you can use that's actionable and you can use to make more sales and make sales great again and not get weak in the close. I invite you to activate your membership inside Stupar Sales Academy, or grab yourself a deck of cash cards so that you can close more deals, have more fun, have a little bit more swag and confidence in the close and in your sales presentations. My name is Jordan Stupar, founder of Stupar Sales Academy, and I genuinely am passionate about helping salespeople convert more opportunities and helping sales teams break records. Reach out to me, click the links in the below for the cash cards, Stupar Sales Academy, or completely ignore all this advice and continue on selling the way that you think that you need to. I don't really care. But for those of you that do want to increase sales, I can help. And I look forward to contributing to your sales success. Sales has evolved. Have you?